Good evening, everyone. This is Dolores Cannon with the Metaphysical Hour. And tonight is September the 27th, the year 2013. The year is really getting away from us. I don't know where it goes. We've been out of town again. We just got back from L.A. and last night. So, we're either on the road or something, and we try to get these programs as much as we can when we're here. Sometimes it's hard, but I really want to do these live shows when we're available. Okay, but tonight is just me and Julia, and we're going to be doing some talking, but if anybody wants to call in, it'd be like what you call an open mic. Anything you want to talk to us about, dealing with my work, her work, you're welcome to call in. So I'll give you the toll-free number if you want to do that tonight. The toll-free number is 1-888-627-6008. 888-627-6008. Okay. We're always trying to get back to normal after those flights when we get in here.
There is no normal anymore.
We don't know what time zone we're in or anything. Our bodies are always working on a different time zone. I did want to say something that I saw on the internet today that I think was really interesting. Was talking about Mars, and they made a really breakthrough discovery on Mars with the rover that's over there, moving around the surface. They have found there is water on Mars. Because they said, the first thing that's going to be required if we're going to go there and set up a base, as what they're thinking about doing, is there has to be water. And now they found, there's going to be plenty of water.
Oh, wow.
It's something, I don't understand it, but it's something to do with the soil samples that they've been bringing back, is there is water in the dirt. And it would be able to extract it, so they would be able to live. So, Who knows? Another thing they found with this rover on there is interesting. They found one place that they know was capable of being inhabited at one time. Of course, we know it was, but there's something about the soil and the conditions. They said that people could have lived there. So they're coming around to thinking like we do anyway. Well, we know people lived there, and people are still living there. They're living underground because the surface, the atmosphere and everything was destroyed. But that's interesting. They said that the rover is coming back with all this information. They said it's a flood of information. They said it's like drinking out of a fire hose, the amount of information that's being fed back through their instruments. So that means eventually then they will be able to take people there and establish a base where they can live. I wouldn't want to do it, but that's...
Well, but that'll make them more hopeful because they're always like, there's not enough room here, we've got to go someplace else. So if they think that's an option, that's good.
Yeah. For the adventurous, and there's always some out there that want to explore the unknown. But it backs up what we've always said, too, that there was life there at one time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Time just keeps marching on. We keep finding more and more stuff out all the time. We do want to remind everybody, too, that we are going to be having the cruise in a couple of weeks. And we're going to be teaching a class on the cruise. Mm-hmm. Two classes, really.
And a workshop.
Mm-hmm. So, we had to do a 2-week cruise in order to have enough time at sea to hold a class. Because we can only do that on the days we're at sea, and then whenever they're in port, everybody likes to go and see everything.
Right.
Do sightseeing.
Yeah, there's a lot of ports of call on this cruise, so it'll be really exciting. All of them are places we've never been. So
some places in Mexico, South America, and Central America, I think.
Well, because it goes
Costa
down.
Rica.
Yeah, Costa Rica. Mm-hmm.
And it goes through the Panama Canal, but that's what I was excited about. I've always wanted to see that.
Right.
And the cruise starts in San Diego and goes through the canal and ends up in Fort Lauderdale. We thought it would be interesting, people wanting to take a class and also a vacation at the same time. So people are excited about it. It's something different. We've never done it before.
Right. It's a new experience all the way around. It doesn't mean it's the only way you're doing classes. It's one way. We have a lot of other options for classes. So.
But I think we told you last week we are starting to cut back on the live level 1.
Right.
Because there are just too many places to go and there's just too much other things going on.
Well, it's just this, the universe just said very loudly, we have to shift how we're doing things. And we listen. I mean, that's what we teach all the time, so what would we be if we don't follow what we teach? So.
Yeah, that we have to cut back on the live classes. We are, for now, going to do the level 2s live.
Yeah.
And one of those is this next week.
Right, it's next weekend. Right, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's starting, a week from today, yeah.
Starting Thursday.
Right, well, Thursday night is the dinner, and then Friday through Sunday is the class. So.
And this is a big one, because a lot of these are people who have taken the class online. Right,
and then as they're picking this up, that's why we are having them more often, so we can get everybody that's doing the online class, get them caught up, and everybody that's done previously, and then level 1.
But the level 2, we're still keeping that live because it's very much interaction and individual honing of skills and trying to get people to understand more if they're having problems or anything. Mm-hmm. So that's this next week, and it's a big one. And then it's in 2 weeks. It's the 18th, I think it is. The 19th, we're going to San Diego on the 18th.
Right, the cruise is the 19th of October to the 2nd of November.
2 weeks. And if people are interested, it is a way to combine a vacation and a class too.
Right, absolutely. It's got to be, that's what you've got to be thinking. You know, we've gotten some emails from people, it's like, well, I can't afford that. Well, that's not what we have other options if this isn't the only option for a course. This is an option for a vacation and a course.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to take the course. If you want to just do the cruise and be there with us, because we'll have dinners together and things like that, you can just come and hang out and have fun. You don't have to go to the courses to be going on the cruise with us.
And there's 2 separate prices on
right, they're all, exactly. It's priced out where that course can be pulled out if you don't want to do the courses.
But 2 weeks is a long time. Some people say they can't take that much time off. But consider it as a vacation. Right. And it is going to be interesting, all these different ports of call. And, on the ship, everything is included, and it's really fantastic. You don't have to want for anything.
Right. Yeah, lots of fun.
Okay, so that's the next live class, level 1.
Yeah. And then we're looking at, don't have it scheduled yet, but we'll probably have one live one next year sometime here in Arkansas.
Just have one anyway.
But we don't have it set yet to schedule.
Yeah, because after we do the cruise, then we head out for China, Japan, Taiwan, and Australia. Those are all level 1s, but people want to know something here in the States. Those are
probably.
Those are all over there. We have them coming from all over the world.
Right.
We have these overseas classes. But because we're not going to be doing so many live classes, we are concentrating on the online. And that is growing.
Yes, and we're working on them. If you go on the website, you might see something that says it's disabled or whatever. There have been issues, but you can still get into it. You just have to contact the person, and they'll get you in. We're working on all of those because our next step is to also translate all of the online class so that it can reach out to other countries and all over the world.
And keep me from having to physically go to those countries.
Right, because that was the universe's directive.
Well, we've got to do something with it because it's so much.
Right.
It's very hard on the body to keep doing this and traveling constantly.
It is, and you know, I don't want anybody to take it's not anything about taking offense. You just have to think about it. I mean, not many people do the kind of traveling that we do, so they don't know what it does to the body, what kind of pressure and what kind of effect it has on the body. Even if you do have direct contact with the all, this is still a human body, and it's hard on it. And
there are times we're every week somewhere.
Right.
And most people, they tell me they could never keep up the pace that we keep up. But the online class is a filmed actual class, so you're really right there.
Absolutely. It's just like you're there. We talked to some people that took it, and we said, well, what was the experience like? And that's what they said. It was like I was right there in the class. Mm-hmm. So that's how it was done.
So you could take it online, and it'll be just about the same thing.
Yeah, the only thing that's missing is the day of practice.
Yeah, but then you have to go do that on your own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But with the forum building, because as soon as you're done, you join the forum, and there's a whole community, so there's people that you can probably easily find people in your area and go practice. You can trade sessions and things like that. So there you get practice.
And the forum is really good when you can ask questions if you're having problems or you have anything you want to know about. They're really good.
Very good.
We have moderators all over the world helping with that. So we're trying to let that take over for me.
Yes.
Which just comes to that point.
Well, and that was what the universe, I mean, it's just funny that they know about all this technology because that's how they said it. Look, you have the technology, use it.
Yeah.
That was exactly their words. So
go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we're going to do in the next one. We won't even be back live on this program until November, because every Friday from here till November we'll be somewhere. So, after a while, it is nice. Like right now, we just got back last night. It is nice to have a couple of days, sit here in the peace and quiet, because we get away from L.A. traffic and...
This trip wasn't as intense, though, as some others we've taken. Some, as soon as I got there, all I could notice was the cars and the concrete traffic, just that kind of stuff. But this one didn't seem to hit me to that same degree. So
maybe because we weren't teaching a class.
I don't know.
We were there for other things.
I don't know. It just didn't seem to do that. I don't know if it was where we were or what.
But where we live out here, we're on top of a mountain, and it's a long, long way from anybody else, and it's peaceful and quiet. All you hear is the birds singing.
We're country bumpkins.
Yeah, country, you hear the birds singing in the day and the crickets at night. And then in the morning, the deer come up in the front yard, and it's a different world.
It's a needed world.
Even if we only have a few days to get here and just, let it all hang out and just
recharge.
Yeah, recharge our batteries. We need that. Otherwise we couldn't keep up the pace that we do. So I just want to tell you that anyway. So we're home for a few days, and then we're off again. And but this is the way it is, and they say you signed on for this.
Right, and it's not like you won't be going out there. You'll be out there doing things. It won't be so many classes. It'll just be some restructuring. You will be out there on things, and we'll keep things posted on the website. So if you ever want to know, where you're going to be, then that will be on there. But we post it as soon as we know about it and as soon as we have it.
Because I'm still talking at conferences and different things like that.
Right.
We haven't stopped all of that. But the other ones just have to be gradually phased out.
Well, it's not phased out. It's just allowing technology to
take over.
Right. Virtual, you will just keep on marching full steam ahead.
Oh, yeah, because we got so many things. That's it. We can't keep up with all the other things that are coming at us. So it's not slowing down that way.
So see, in a way, what you just did was you just duplicated yourself. You cloned yourself. Everyone said you have to clone yourself. That's your clone.
Is the Internet.
That recording, see, it's over there doing the work. So that's your clone.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's, and we're involved.
So that really you can do some the other things that need to be started.
Yeah, because we have a lot of other projects in the works, so you have to be cloned.
Yeah. Well, that we figured out how to do it. How about that?
But we are translating the video into as many languages as we can. So if anybody out there wants to volunteer to help different languages, please feel free to contact our office.
Yes.
If you want to be involved in all of this.
Yeah, it's a huge project, a huge undertaking, and we can use any help. It's greatly appreciated.
I think we're doing the main languages first, but then we've been getting requests for some of the little-known ones, Polish, Danish, and all of those. But it is already being into some. So anyway, but that's what they say. You sign on for this. There's no way out. You just have to keep doing it. Be careful what you ask for. Okay. Well, we were thinking, what are we going to talk about tonight? And, well, anyway, I guess if anybody's interested in the cruise, they contact the office, too. We get all of that.
Contact the office. We have the link on the website that takes you right to the people that directly sign you up. If you contact the office, we're going to direct you to that website anyway, because it has to go through them. And people think, oh, it's so expensive. Please know, we do not get all that money. Most of that, almost all of that, goes to the cruise line because it's for the cruise. There's a little bit that's tacked on for the classes. So.
That's what we get some of these emails, and it really hurt because they're thinking, we're getting all of that. No, we're just providing a vacation for people.
It's another avenue for a vacation.
Yeah, so please put it into perspective. Okay, what I was thinking about talking about tonight, though, was the healing aspect of the work. You know, this method of hypnosis that I've developed and that we are teaching all over the world is more than just hypnosis. It's more than past life regression because it focuses on the healing of the body. That is the most important thing, and that's what the different doctors and different alternative healers are really getting excited about because it is really, we're doing miracles. And our students are reporting miracles, too. It is working. But that's why I always want to know is how are they doing in the healing aspect? But so we want to talk a little bit about that tonight. I think it's been a while since we brought that up. But the idea is that nobody should ever be sick. You shouldn't be, because the human body is a miraculous machine that has been created to take care of itself and heal itself if we don't interfere with it. And if you have anything wrong, any aches, pains, symptoms, or anything, it's the body trying to talk to you and give you a message. And, of course, you have to know how to read these messages and how to listen to the body. And at first, you may have a little aches and pains here and there. You don't pay any attention to it. And then maybe a little more. It'll come on a little later. You get a little more. And then it'll keep increasing because you're not listening to your body, what it's trying to tell you. And pain is a really good way to get your attention.
One of the best ways.
Yeah, shaking. Are you listening yet? But then if you're still not paying attention, if you don't know what it's trying to tell you, it can get to the point where you end up in a hospital, have to have surgery, or have some kind of a disease, because we always say they got to hit you over the head with a 2x4 to get you to listen. And you don't want to wait till you get to that point.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of people will say, people that don't know this, they'll say, when they got cancer, that was for the first time they stopped and they actually kind of looked inside, or they shifted how they did things with themselves. And so, see, that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to get you to shift and talk to yourself. I mean, however you do it, and that's why all of a sudden people that do that, all of a sudden they go into remission and they're like, wow, what happened here? they shifted. They actually started listening to themselves. They didn't realize they were doing it, but they were doing it. Mm-hmm. But yes, that's how it has to be. You have to shift, and you have to talk to yourself.
Because you will make yourself sick. And a lot of my clients, they get upset. What do you mean? I don't want to be sick. But if the mind's powerful enough to create the illness and whatever it is, it's also powerful enough to heal it. You just got to find out, why did you do this to yourself? And that's a big eye-opener for a lot of people. They'd rather blame it on something else. Like you're always saying, too, is if they say, I am a diabetic, or I...
Right, you claim it.
Yeah.
When you do that.
Name it, you claim it.
Right. You can say, anytime you say I am, those are your power words. I am anything. You are stating it, you are claiming it, and that is what you are. You might, my body, or I have this ailment. That's different. I have this going on. And whenever you even get further, then you'll say it differently from that. But your first shift is just get out of the I am, because that's claiming it.
Mm-hmm. But Julia's always saying any kind of aches, pains, illness, whatever it is, she's always saying, stop and talk to your body, talk to yourself, and ask yourself, what do you want me to know? What are you trying to tell me? Because people don't think of that. The body is talking to them.
You'll be surprised what it'll say. Because I think the first thing is you'll be surprised that it does talk back.
Mm-hmm.
And so just you have to get quiet and just ask it.
And then listen to the first thing that comes into your mind.
Right.
A lot of people, they'll say, well, I'm making it up. But the first thing that comes into your mind is usually the body answering. And it may be something you would never have thought of. But it makes perfect sense.
Right.
And see, this is what I teach in the classes, is what do these different ailments mean? What are they trying to tell you? Because once you understand, then you can make a difference. You can change it then. Once you understand what it is trying to tell you, then you'll see it'll go away instantly. And that's what we teach. It goes away instantly once you figure out what's it trying to tell you. I guess we should go into some of these anyway.
Right. Before we do, you made a comment earlier that a lot of doctors are...
they're finally
they're understanding this and getting it, and your students are starting to get a lot of these things. I just wanted to share an email I got today from one of the moderators who had a session with a doctor.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of those.
Yes.
They're beginning to realize.
He had 2 doctors within like a week, and
the doctors are realizing that it isn't the medicine they're being taught is not where it all is.
Right. Well, anyway, this one that she was telling me about had a miraculous healing of an ankle tendon and sinus things. Anyway, some really cool stuff. But the really cool part of it was when the person was under, they were shown exactly how the healing was taking place on a cellular level. It was showing them what was happening.
So they could understand it.
Right, exactly. And that's really exciting because exactly for that reason. They could understand it. So it's showing them, same way as I got different visuals because I can understand some of those things. And
because Julia was a nurse, she knows about the body.
Right, you know the body, so it shows you different things. And so anyway, I look forward to I asked if they were going to do a drawing, because they said they were. So I'm looking forward to getting that to see exactly what it looks like from their perspective to see the healing on a cellular level. So.
But yeah, we've had doctors email us and say they've had all these years of regular medicine and they felt there was still something missing. Then they got over into this and they could see it opened up a whole new world, a whole new way of thinking. That it's not just drugs and surgery.
Right, because you get into medicine, nurses and doctors alike, you get in to help people. But if you start getting in this thing of I just got to prescribe drugs and you're just doing Band-Aid approaches, there's more to it, you realize that's what, you're not helping. I'm just putting them on drugs, I'm just doing whatever. And so that's what attracted me to it, too. That's what made sense of all of this. It gets to the core. None of the other things get to the core. This does, to the core issue of what's going on. Then you can address it. That only makes sense.
Because how many doctors take the time to ask you, how's your marriage? How's your job? How's your, family relationship?
Life, right.
Yeah, how's your life going? Where that is the answer right there. But instead of looking at, I'm going to look at the ears or the throat and that one isolated part, instead of trying to figure what it's trying to tell you.
Right.
But Julia has written the book. It's called Soul Speak. And it was really taken off of my work.
Absolutely.
Because we know at all these classes, we're always going into the different symptoms and the different parts of the body and what it means. And so she was given the instructive loud and clear, you got to write a book about this.
Right. I think we did that story before, but it was very loud that I had to write it. And so after much resistance, I did.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, it's based on yours, and probably the majority of it is from your sessions and from things that you found and everything. And then the other parts that, because we had the exceptions in there as well, but then there's some other things that weren't addressed. So what I had to do to cover them, because I wanted a well-rounded, it's like we need to cover these issues, I just energetically crawled inside of the disease processes to find out what their message might be. And so that's where the rest of it came from.
Well, we know Louise Hay has a book out there about what the different parts of the body, what it means, but she does it more simplified.
Well, you have to look at when that book was written and where we were in humanity. I mean, that was from the 80s?
70s, 80s, yeah.
Exactly. It was groundbreaking. It was totally new thought. And people are going, it was really way out at that time. So it had to be. This is what we could understand conceptually at that time were, okay, here it is. Just the fact that you can even look that it could have something like that was huge. And then it's like, well, do these affirmations because that's going to change your thought process.
Yeah, that was her way of doing it.
Right, and that really, for where we were at that time, that's huge, groundbreaking stuff. It's just we're in a different place now, and we can have more information.
We can understand more. Besides, like you said, too, that we've always found the exception to the rule. It's not always as simple as she made it. She was a pioneer, but we are moving forward. And it's amazing we have found the same information, but we're taking it further.
Yeah, for the most part, it very much agreed. There were a few that I noticed that did not, but for the most part, it agreed.
Then we have the other ones that go further. Well, we can just talk about some of these so that people will understand. Some of them may not have heard the other shows we did. We did them a couple of years ago, I think. But we find the answers through hypnosis, but at least it'll give you something to look at yourself and look inside yourself when we give these examples.
Well, and I think that's a good point right there, because that's number one. You have to look inside yourself. You have to be willing to be introspective. If you're not at that place and you want to be in a pity party and a victim and the world is against you, and all this stuff, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not in the right place to help yourself. You have to get to a place where you are willing to look inside yourself. And
realize you did it to yourself.
Right, and you have power.
Great power.
Great power.
Julie always says we are great and powerful beings. We just forgot. But you can't say, well, God, look what God did to me, all these horrible things he's making happen to me. Nobody's doing it to you but yourself.
Right. For some reason. Mostly it's you're experiencing something, but mostly it's to learn from. You've created things to learn from. Or it's how you're choosing to deal with things. There's nothing wrong with that. But now that you know it, and if you don't like that situation, change it. And do it.
Well, I'll give you one example. We have had, I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of cases, and we hear the same thing over and over again, and that's how we've come to these conclusions that I teach And that's where Julie got the information for the book. One thing in particular, I have many, many cases of people with cancer. We have found again and again, cancer is caused by anger, suppressed anger. If the person could just talk about it, that would be the first step. But they hold it inside, they suppress it. I don't have anything wrong with me, and I'm not angry at anything. You're the ones with the problems. They won't face up to it. And that anger stays inside and churns around. And after a while, it begins to eat away at the organs, and you end up with cancer. But usually, if you look at it, you'll see there's something that you're angry about. And I've had so many cases, and I'll say, well, are you angry about anything? And they'll say, oh, yeah, how did you figure that out? It's very obvious. And we have found the part of the body where you have the cancer is telling you what you're angry about. But you got to look at it. You got to be honest with yourself to figure it out.
Well, like you said, you have to remove all emotions. You have to come from an objective place. I mean, you can be emotional when you do this, but as far as like I did this or anything, you have to get to a place. It's an empowering place. At first, it'll be hard. You might be angry, but you get to the place of why did I do this, and you pull it away. And if you're angry, it's okay. Now you recognize it. Now you can do something about it.
And now you said about forgiving, which is never easy, and releasing it, and then the disease will go away.
Right.
Sounds simple, but this has happened again and again and again. That's one of the extremely...
It is simple. It's not necessarily easy, but it's simple. It's a simple process.
It is. But the forgiving, and that part is not easy. But, well, for instance, if you have people with thyroid, we don't know how many patients... Clients, I didn't mean to say patients. How many clients I've had with thyroid issues? Usually hypo, which is low thyroid. Anything with the throat, the jaw, the mouth, anything in that area means you're not speaking your truth. You're not speaking up for yourself. You're holding back when you should be speaking out.
There's something you need to say.
Something you need to say, and you won't do it for whatever reason. Maybe at work, maybe at home. You don't.
Only you know.
Yeah. The same thing as with the anger. You're the only one that really knows. But I had 4 one time in 1 week with the thyroid. And each one of them, it goes back to they just were not speaking out and not talking about what was really bothering them. Keep the peace, just keep quiet, and then it goes inward and creates diseases and problems. Let's see, what's some other ones?
A real common one, a lot of times, we'll just start from the top of the head and work our way down, like ringing in the ears, or ear issues in general. Let's say ears in general.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Right.
What don't you want to hear?
And sometimes it's ringing in the ears, it's a frequency adjustment, but still, there's...
Yeah, but it's what don't you want to hear? What don't you want to listen to? The eyes is what don't you want to see? And these sound simple, but that's what it really is.
And sometimes, like one time for one person, they worded it a little differently, and it took on a whole different... It was still the same meaning, but it shifted it to where I totally got it. But they said, this person does not want to see their situation as it truly is. And... So see, it's like rather than going, what don't you want to see? You might, well, I'm seeing everything fine. There's nothing like. But when you look at it that way, they don't want to look. They truly don't want to see the situation as it truly is. So see, think of all those words. Those words are very, very important because that's how that's how the body listens. That's how what am I trying to say? That's how the body manifests. Yeah. You don't want to see something that way, you're not willing to look at it, it's going to affect your eyes.
The old saying, see the world through rose-colored glasses, instead of the way it really is.
Right.
And did they cause problems that way? Well, I have many, 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 many with back issues. It's usually in the small of the back. or across the shoulders, the neck, and then going down the spine, and it usually focuses on the small of the back. I have many, many people like that. Some of them have had surgery, and some of them are scheduled for surgery. Now, the doctors that come to see me tell me a lot of things you don't want to know. And they said 75% of the back surgeries don't work. But the people have them, and sometimes they're worse off than they were before. Well, the back is interesting because I usually ask the client, do you feel like you're carrying a heavy load? They, oh, yeah, my marriage, my job, and I don't know how much more I can take on. And that's where it manifests in the back.
Responsibility.
They've got they've got to ease the load, but sometimes that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, it usually means they need to do some delegating or something.
Yeah, because they are taking on too much, and there should be somebody else around who can take some of the load off.
Yeah, they're carrying all this, and they don't feel, either they don't feel supported or don't feel like they can ask for support or some help, and that's where it's all
a weakness if they ask for help.
And so it's loaded down, and so that's, only you can ask.
Then another one that I get a lot of is hip, leg, knee, feet, ankles, the extremities. Get a lot of people like that. They're either scheduled for knee replacements or hip replacements, all of that, and it can be one side or the other. But what I found with that, you're not going in the direction you're supposed to be going in. You're holding back. You're supposed to be doing something else. And a lot of times, you're offered another opportunity. And maybe you want to do this other one. That would really make you happy. But there's money involved, and if I quit this job, I won't have the money, even though I'd be happy or go in the other direction. And you have to make a decision. And a lot of people come to crossroads. I need to make a decision. Maybe it's a marriage, a divorce, a job, anything. And they're holding back because they don't, afraid to take the first step out in that other direction, because that's the unknown. But you always said they'd rather stay with the devil they know
than the angel they don't know. That's right. Well, and that's so much, and that it again, it's quite literal. A lot of times the feet, it's afraid of stepping out or stepping into or stepping. So it's so cool how it's done. The knees.
Your body is very, very literal.
Right. I think what it is the larger the joint. This is something I came up with myself, that I felt like the larger the joint, it's probably the bigger the decision. It's become more of an issue where it's like if it's just stepping into a new direction, it's like something new that's come in. It's a matter of stepping into it, then it's maybe just the foot. But as it's becoming more of an issue, I really need to move in this direction. It's needing the whole body to move rather than just the foot to stick a toe in that test of waters. It's going to affect, kind of go up further.
The knees and the hips.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. People are afraid to take that first step out.
We get comfortable. We get very comfortable.
Even though we're not happy with it, and there's something else we know we should be doing. And, of course, we get surgery. That's not going to help anything, really. So you have to figure it out. What am I wanting to do? What am I holding back on that I really want to do and I should be doing?
Again, only you know.
Yeah, all of these. We can't answer your questions for you because we don't know your life situation. Of course, when we're doing sessions, then we spend a lot of time talking to the person to find out what it is that's bothering them. But you as an individual could just use introspection. Start talking to yourself. And what is it trying to tell you? Because it's very literal.
I think a lot of times that's a lot of it. It's just trying to get you, like I said in the beginning, getting you to be introspective. Because sometimes we're so all about the outside world, we forget completely that we're a soul and a body, and we need, there's things to work on here. And so I think sometimes it's to get our attention back here to the center. rather than on all these nice distractions out here.
Yeah, because the body is definitely giving you messages constantly. And that's what I want people out there to start thinking that way and looking at your body. Talk to your body. It loves for you to talk to it. Tell it how much you appreciate it. The organs, the cells, all the parts of it. How much you love it. How much you appreciate the hard work it's doing. It loves for you to listen to it. I have a friend who has really bad hip problems, and I tried to tell him to talk to his body. Well, one time I saw him, and I said, well, how are your hips? He said, oh, they're as bad as ever. I said, are you talking to your body? Yeah, every morning when I get up, I cuss it out. That's not the way you talk to your body. You got to tell them how much you love it. Because what you don't realize is inside your body is an entire universe. All the organs, all the cells, you have an entire universe inside your body. And when you talk to it, it's like, wow, somebody's paying attention to me. Somebody's noticing me. Because when you speak to your body, you are the voice of God to that body. And, if you say, I love you, heart. Look at all the hard work that you do, and I really appreciate what you do. I love you, kidneys. I love you, liver.
I think a lot of times we identify with the body too much. We think we are the body. And the body is a house. It's a place that we are residing. And we don't take care of it very well. It's like going and staying at someone's house, and if you don't treat it very well, it's going to fall down on you. So, and it's just appreciating it and tending to it, and then we'll make it a little more, it's a living house, because it can hear you and it can respond to you. So if it knows it's appreciated, it responds to that. If it doesn't, then it's going to just go and go, and if you neglect it, it's going to
and it'll
fall apart.
Keep trying to get your attention in the wrong way.
Right, because I need something here.
Yeah, it'll try to keep getting your attention with pain and different ways like that. So if you start listening to your body, appreciate your body, and know it's trying to talk to you, and talk back to it, and tell us how much you love it, you're going to see a big difference.
Right.
This is how you heal your body.
Yes, it is.
We have some books that were written by a doctor that we published. He was a doctor for 45 years, and he was the head of a hospital, and he was trying to get this idea into the hospital. Of course, in those days, they wouldn't listen to him, the idea that you could talk to your body. And he proved it in cases, had the person talking to the body, and the healing after surgery and everything was miraculous. The bleeding, they got able to control all of that by just talking to the body and talking to the cells. And that's what he was trying to get the hospital to understand. But he was ahead of his time.
Right.
Now we are getting mail from hospitals that are starting to do this. One, we got a letter from that they were going to add a wing on the hospital. It was going to be for alternative healing and natural medicine. So it's happening.
Yeah, that's a huge step forward.
And we found some hospitals who are giving the patient an alternative. Do they want regular medicine or do they want the natural? So it's coming. It's slow.
Yeah, but if you look back 20 years, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is a huge step forward. It just happens so gradually that we don't, it's like, it's slow, but it's happening.
Yeah.
That's the huge part.
Because before, they used to ban doctors if they talked about natural things, and not anymore. They would lose their licenses. Not anymore. And we're finding it all over the world. The natural healing and the alternative medicine is very big everywhere else.
Right, in all the other parts of the world.
Other parts of the world, yes. So it's out there, and they understand it. We go to China, we go to all these countries. They understand what we're trying to teach because it is part of their belief system. Well, what's some other diseases we could throw in here? Well, one is diabetes. What is diabetes? It is the lack of sweetness.
Right. I mean, to be done literally, the body's not processing. It doesn't handle the sweetness. See, that might be a better way of doing it. It doesn't handle the sweetness, the sugar. And but yeah, it's saying it directly translates as lack of sweetness. But we can say you don't know how to deal with the sweetness in your life. You have no sweetness in your life. You have no joy. It's probably there. You just don't know how to process it. So.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of the clients that come to see me, they have bad marriages, and they're going through divorces, and they develop diabetes. Well, it's the lack of love, the lack of joy. So these things are very literal.
That's the beauty of it. It's so literal. You just look at it.
And it's so simple to figure out once you start thinking in that direction. But, like all the things we write about and then I teach about and lecture about, they always say, well, they never thought of these explanations, with life after death, reincarnation, any of that. But once you start thinking about it and plant the seed, it opens up a whole new way of thinking. And that's what we're trying to get at the people out there, to look at yourself. If you have anything wrong with you, or trying to see what is your body trying to tell you. What does it want you to know?
Yeah, the messages tend to go along certain lines. I mean, most of the messages are about your direction. Either you need to go in a different direction or you need to move at all, because sometimes we just get stuck and we don't want to do anything. Kind of like a paralysis of analysis. You keep, well, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if it's wrong? And everything, and you just stop. Well, that's probably worse than doing the wrong thing, because at least if you're doing the wrong thing, you're at least moving. And that's physics. It's easier to move, to change direction of a moving object than something that's stopped, because you have to get momentum going again. So sometimes the messages are just kicks in the backside to get you moving.
Because no accident is ever an accident.
Right.
It's always trying to tell you something that you need to look at.
Right. So like what I like to say is just don't worry, because I've been in the same place. That's why I understand it. Don't worry about if you're making the right decision. Just do something. Make a decision and start moving. You'll know pretty quick if it's what you want to do or not, and then you can just change course. But it's easier to do that when you're moving, when you're actually propelling, than from a standing point. You just can't. You can't move. So that's all it wants you to do, is just start doing something.
Well, what we found, too, is that the body does not understand these big names the doctors put on things. They have these big, long disease names. Because I have them come to me, and they'll say, the doctors say I have this long...
Yeah, 20 letters.
Yeah. And I said, I don't need to know that. That's a label the doctor puts on things. Tell me your symptoms. That's what I want to know.
Because those symptoms will tell you the message.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
No matter what you're going to call it.
Right.
Because the doctors have told me most of the time they don't have a clue what's wrong with the person anyway, but they got to call it something. But that's what you want to look at, is the
symptoms.
The symptoms of it. I had another one come in there that I wanted to bring up. What was it? Before we go off here.
What do you mean, like a disease or what?
Well, there was something I was thinking about right along that line. There's so many of them, and we get lots and lots of them.
But another thing, and they're telling me to remind people, so some people are into this, it's like, look at the chakras also, because the chakras it's kind of interrelated as far as the areas of your body. You look at the areas of the chakras and what they cover, because all of that's related.
It takes care of the major organs that are around that chakra. It's all interrelated together. Right. It all works together. Well, I'll probably think of this thought after we're off the air. But That's the main thing we want to get you to looking at yourself. And what are you trying to tell yourself? And you said if you don't meditate, just get quiet.
Just get quiet. And at night is a great time to do that, because at night before you go to sleep, you have a little period there where you're quiet. You have to do that to go to sleep. And that's the same state that you're in meditation, in the beginning of hypnosis, all of that. So that's an excellent time because you're not pulling time from someplace else. That's time that you have to spend anyway.
You're not making busy work, so I won't think.
Right. So while you're there, you just ask yourself, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to know? And you can directly talk to the part that's bothering you, or you just ask it in general. But whatever you get, if you don't hear something right away, then you'll get messages in your dream, or somebody may tell you something the next day. Somehow you will get the information. Keep asking until you do. It could be that your body's in shock to know that you're actually talking to it, because it doesn't know that. It's never heard you before, so in that way. So it may need to hear you a few times before it actually answers.
It says, wow, somebody's paying attention to me here.
And by all means, love it. Love your body.
Oh, yeah, because it's a wonderful machine. And it is going to be your house the whole time that you're alive.
You chose it.
Yeah.
You picked this house.
And it can be a wonderful, healthy body. It's up to you what you do to it.
Right.
Or you can destroy it. It's up. That's all your choice.
It's all your choice. Completely. It's free will.
Well, the book on this is one that Julia wrote. It's called Soul Speak. And you can order it through our website.
Our website, Amazon, all of the sites.
It's in the bookstores. Right. It's everywhere. Oh, you want to tell them our website if they want to go?
It's the Ozark Mountain website, which is ozarkmt.com. It's OZARKMT.com or OZARKMT.com. I'm trying to think if there's a link from your site, but I don't think there is. And then we do have the e-books out there through Amazon and Barnes & Noble and a lot of different sites.
But she has listed just about every symptom, every part of the body you could think of, and to get you to thinking of the relationship and what it's trying to tell you.
Yes.
Once you know that, you can work with it then.
It's just understanding how it talks and why it's doing it. And then I also have a section in there about who we really are and why we are great and powerful beings and why we have this mechanism for communicating with ourselves. And so it's understanding all of that. But then, yes, it's going into, because they told me we need to understand the process. We need to engage in the process. We always want something outside of us to fix us.
Yeah, fix me.
Fix me. And it's like, and they are adamant that, no, this is the time that we take care of it ourselves. We must engage, and we must do this for ourselves. So, here you go.
That's the new way it is now.
That's exactly right.
Fix yourself.
Yes.
Okay, I think we've come to the time we have to sign off. So if you have any questions about this, maybe it's a whole new way of thinking or looking at it. I hope that we've struck a chord in here anyway. And the book is called Soul Speak.
The Language of Your Body.
Yeah. So anyway, we won't be back live until November. We're going to be all over the world before then.
No. Before then, we're just going down under the U.S.
Well, okay, yeah, because, all right, but then November, then's when we head out and we'll be back till Christmas. Okay, so anyway, thanks for listening tonight.
Make it great.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
If you enjoyed the show, check out more of our other videos and be sure to subscribe and click the like button. Thank you for listening to the Metaphysical Hour with Dolores Cannon.